in that life, but we can see around us in what way the domestic life is going on, the relations even between the spouse, the relations between brothers and brothers, the relations between father and progeny, etc., etc. Violence at that stage where families are for cordial relation, helping each other. And after all, without family life, how can you conceive of any society? It is the progress of human society that it has come forward to this stage, organized family life. And in that, if this virus of violence has crept in, I don't know whether the statisticians have made any survey, but if they make, they will find, probably I can't claim, 90% families are vitiated by this virus of domestic violence. In rural villages, rural places, the situation is worst because there is lack of education on one part and poverty on other part, and certain what you call certain sanskar, certain things which are going on, they beat their wives like anything. So this is on one state that we found violence. So I am talking about these emotions. If you agree with me that this is the most difficult problem and the most efficient cause of all disorder in the world, starting from violence, we know also about certain other emotional, destructive emotions, other negative emotions which are responsible for all kinds of problems. Yesterday we had a session on environment and ecology. The problem lying at the root, as said by Bhagavan Mahavira. Bhagavan Mahavira in the Acharang Sutra, the first chapter, the nomenclature of the chapter is renunciation of weapons. And when he talks of weapons, these are not the weapons, guns, or the revolvers, or the knives. What he talks about weapons, he said weapons are of two types, dravya and bhav. Dravya shastra, bhav shastra. Shastra parigya means giving up, renunciation of bhav shastra. And what he says, bhav shastra is asanyama, lack of self-discipline. So if all of you agree, and I hope you will, this is at the root of all maladies, whether it is in India or whether it is in Syria or whether it is in US, anywhere, everywhere, whatever problems are created in any name, at the root we find this disorder in our emotional system. And that's why we are looking forward for such technique which must be scientific, always strictly scientific. If we talk about religion, say Jainism is the best religion, there may be a person, it is good, but Vedanta or the Vaishnavism is better. Third world people will come, no. We respect all, but our Christianity is a thought. So let us not go into this dispute. It will be futile. Some people say you teach all religions. What will be the effect? What is needed? What religion has taught to us? Let that come from our education. If we can achieve this, we are living in 21st century. We are living in the era when people are now trying to break the boundaries of even interplanetary, our solar system's horizons. They may be able to penetrate into intergalactic distances, maybe. one time. Also, our ancient wisdom has evidence that it is not that difficult. People can cross those boundaries of intergalactic distances. Let go now. But this thing, first thing, scientific technique, scientific method, scientific tool. Why scientific? Scientific means it must be measurable. Quantitative measurement is the criterion of scientific method. If I tell you, you recite Om 100 times and your fever will go 1 degree low. People will do it. But science, will it believe? Science, we will believe. Let us there be 100 persons, the sample, statistics sample of 100 persons having the same fever under same condition, 100 other people under control group with the same condition. Let them speak Om 100 times. Let them not speak and given only kerosene, etc. And they want to find the difference in the result. If the quantitative result confirms that effect of reciting Om brings the temperature 1 degree below, science will accept it. In the same way, if we can discover, if we can test scientifically, apply. I have just because of this reason asked Jyotika Mehta to report his live experience. She is the lady from a very well-to-do family and she herself runs the industry. But at the time, because of humanitarian outlook, she is working for slum children and labor child. You can hear from her voice only that she has become successful. It is a one case study. Science will appreciate, but will not accept. Let there be 100 such industrialists. Do this experiment in their factory and let us found through completely objective assessment and study what difference comes in the behavior of those children. If that is confirmed, I don't think the science or the global scientific fraternity will deny. Never. IIT here is the institute. Whatever research is done here, it may be in India, but if the research is scientifically acceptable, it will be accepted by everywhere, whether it's in Japan or US. They will not deny. The same thing we have to do. It is not an utopian idea, not utopian because we have already tried. There are so many case studies. Professor Lele related his experience. These people are not Jains. They have taken interest because they believed that this should work and they work voluntarily and they found that things are working. Professor Manchanda working on effect of yoga, preksha, meditation, life intervention for the last 20 years. More than 25,000 cases with each case file, case study. He has got that this heart disease is reversible through this input. So now, I think I am hopeful that I have convinced all you that this is the greatest problem. One thing, whether it is violence, whether it is in any form, poverty is created by man because of the greed. If we want to at least narrow down the chasm between the haves and the have-nots, we have to give not education. Education is not easy, is something incomplete. What we require now is training. There is a lot of difference in education and training. We have got NCERT, National Council of Education and Training. The education part is going on well in India. They have developed such curriculum that we can compete with any other product of any other academic institute of the world with our academic institutes. But what about training, what you call? Training. And as I made clear yesterday through neuroscientific evidence, the training means the training of the brain, human brain, by controlling the limbic system, the frontal lobe, or the reptilian brain, the unconscious mind, through the intervention of neocortex, reasoning mind. It is not the knowledge that can help. It is the wisdom. It is the product of the training which will give power, which will empower the neocortex, wisdom, pragya, vivek, even of a child to control his emotions. A child will see another child smoking or chewing tobacco. But if he is trained in Jivan Vigyan, if he is given this training of scientific spiritual technique, he will not imitate him. If this thing can be done, and it is only through education we can do it. Jyotika Mehta gave the example of one child who wanted to become terrorist. Now ISIS is trying to create more and more people dedicated to this cult for protecting Islam. What is their motto? They want to protect Islam and want to make Islam universal. And so they say, let the people be trained to dedicate themselves. They are given training for terrorism. And people are ready in France, in Belgium, in Scandinavian countries. They are ready to be trained, they are being trained, and after training, they have become terrorists. So now, all Islams are not terrorists, all Muslims are not terrorists. On the contrary, there is only a few percent, we don't know how much, that is believing in this terrorism. Otherwise, other Islam, people, Maulvis, teachers, they believe in true Islam, peace, and all these things. Can't they give this kind of scientific spiritual training to their children not to become terrorists and to serve Islam to the right way prescribed in Quran? Is it not possible? In the same way now, let us sum up that we have to create this kind of scientific spiritual mechanism. And a graded course, we get a student, say when he enters the school at the age of 5 or 6, up to when he becomes a collegian, that is up to 12th standard. In the same school, probably he will study. If this graded course of 10 years or 12 years, it is devised in such a way that gradually, we give this training and help them increase their EQ, which is a measurable quantitative factor. You can measure EQ just as you can measure IQ. And if it definitely improves our EQ over IQ, I think no scientist in the world will deny that we don't want such method. So what I humbly request all of you here are the people from universities, here are people from various institutions, here are people from various religions also. So the only thing is that let us all think over this thing, and whosoever the authority may be, it may be NCERT, it may be state government, it may be UNESCO in the global level, etc., etc. First, let them do some research on whatever claim anyone makes. If, say, science of belief makes this claim, we can change. Let that claim be proved. If, say, somebody says it is only by Om, you can change everything. Let that claim be proved. If another person says by 5 times namaz, you can change a person. Let that claim be proved. After thorough and objective assessment of the method, let there be a common derived method acceptable to all, tried for all, apply it and try the results. That is the only solution. Either it is the solution of violence in different ways, including domestic violence up to terrorism, or corruption as it is in India, which is one of the biggest problems, not only in India, everywhere in the world, because of the greediness. This environmental pollution, global warming, climate change, and all these and ecological imbalance, that is the result of our asanyam, lack of indiscipline. People did not have to make a rule for odd and even number cars. Why? People should be trained that if you can control your traveling willingly by controlling your activities, self-denial, as said by Rupasa, people will automatically do. There is no need of such enactment. But unless you give training, how people will do? They will never do. So, in short, now I conclude my discussion because now we have got some time for discussion. We want that this discussion should be a live discussion. All people from the audience, they should put their questions, their suggestions, their response and reactions. Then and then only we can say that we have conducted this conference or this kind of symposia, and the findings then should be propagated properly to give the global people the right way. If we find it right, then I think we hope of something better. And the place like IIT on one hand, and Bhagwan Mahavir International Research Center on another, let them club together just like we want to club science and Jain philosophy. Let IIT and BMII. It is also a part of deemed university. So these two deemed universities, let them come together. I heard there is some consideration of starting a chair at IIT for such research. I will welcome this idea if really it is implemented. It will be a first step in this direction of testifying the claims of ancient wisdom in scientific terminology, facts and figures. So I think I should conclude my this lecture. In the end only, I want to give you just one information that the science of living as it was after a long practice, spiritual practice for 25 years or more, Acharya Mahapragya was not only a genius scholar of languages, ancient wisdom, etc., but he practiced for hours together. And through practice, he has framed this science of living, taking help of science and combining it with this. In science of living, the student has to know what endocrine hormones are responsible for my behavior. If I am overwhelmed by adrenaline, surely I will have loose temper either, or I will be a coward student, a coward child, because it is fight or flight. If it is a hypo, you will become a violent person. If it is hyper, then you will be a coward, etc. So in this way, if we can really testify, and Acharya Tulsi, in the last month of his life, when he had already attained the 90 years age, and just 2 or 3 months before his passing away, in a big congregation of our Sangh, Maryada Mahotsav, he put before the public the plan of wisdom world. He said that through training, we can make people the better people, wiser people in every respect, and unless we will make the world full of wisdom, we cannot get success in solving all these problems. So blueprint of that wisdom world is also lying with me. Acharya Mahapragya has passed away in 2010. Now it is 2016. Acharya Sri Mahasramanji, who is his inheritor, he is present Acharya, and he is also of the opinion that if such spiritual, maybe scientific, maybe social, but spiritualism must be there. If it is spiritual, my all blessings, my all inspiration, my all power and energy, I will devote to that. So in this way, if that wisdom world concept can be conceptualized, implemented after thorough research. Without research, if we jump into it, it will not work. First, research may take 5 years. Such projects may take 10 years. But after getting the result that this kind of input works, and it gives this result. There are so many kinds of techniques. In yoga itself, there are 100 kinds of techniques. Yoga means not only asanas. Yoga has got various other things. In the same way, spiritual practice is prescribed by Mahavir, practiced by Mahavir. Various kind of tapas. It is not only fasting, so many types. And in that way, meditation and so. Meditation also, so many methods we have got. We have got Vipassana, we have got Preksha, we have got Brahma Kumari's this thing, we have got Shri Shri Ravi Sanghasthi, Patanjali's. Everything should be tested scientifically. Let them all be integrated. Whatever is effective in one, that should be accepted, and an integrated approach and product should be made. Not only of one particular religion or one particular kind. If that is possible, and I think IIT can play the major role if it thinks of such venture, making it clear that this is nothing to do with any religion, anything which is not secular. Science and spirituality both are secular. Neither science is not secular nor spirituality. Spirituality is our science of ancient wisdom. Science today is the product of our modern scientists and so on. So now I conclude, and I hope that you will all agree with me. And therefore we have got 25 minutes more to conclude this session. So these 25 minutes are for all of you. I want every one of you should give suggestion, remark. It may be completely against what we have suggested. Maybe, doesn't matter, but let it come forward. And then I will want that, let this international conference on this science and Jain philosophy make a declaration. And in this declaration, if these kinds of resolutions are put before the world, I think this is the only success, or the success which we can say in golden words. This success will be written. Let us go forward in this direction. Thank you.
Okay. Before we go for question answer session and listen to your views, Professor K.P. Mishra would like to express his views very briefly, because time is now running out. Yeah. And I also would like to take my time.
Professor Chandra, thank you very much. My respect to Munishiji. He has formulated the background of this particular roundtable discussion, that is the development of techniques of science and spirituality for development of moral and EQ in global education. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this roundtable discussion is to focus on what is to be discovered. I just want to say a few words about that. 150 years ago, we did not see even the single cell of human body. We were not capable of seeing it. Therefore, there are many invisible things which we have not known today. But perhaps with the development of scientific techniques, we should be able to see what we have not been able to see today. There are two questions that is in science. One is that of resolution, another is that of time. We are trying to see how closely we can observe how closely we can image, how closely we can picture what is not seen today, what is invisible to our eyes, what is invisible to our techniques today. Therefore, we have to work for developing new techniques for seeing what is invisible today. That is one part. The other important part is to know from the perception of spirituality, science has to learn to discover new things. And for that, these Munis who are sitting here on the dais, Muni Shriji, and also in the August hall here, you have to guide scientists how to go for what you have known, what scientists have not known today. That is the question that we are debating in this roundtable discussion. We are coming together because scientists do not know the very secrets of spirituality. And spiritual people do not know the very basics, very urge of scientists. So as scientists, it's my humble request to Munijis, to Acharyas, to sages who are sitting here, to guide us and enlighten us with your knowledge and experience that you have contained in you. It is that we are trying to bring together. And this is possible because what I say today with definite views that with your guidance, we should be able to reach where we have not been able to reach today. So scientists are looking forward to the techniques of spirituality. Scientists are looking forward to the methodology that you have developed by your self-ascetic values, by your self-discipline, by your ways of doing spiritualities. We are looking forward to that. So therefore, all scientists sitting in this hall are looking forward to you for guidance. And Munishi rightly said that whatever is happening in the world is emotional disorder. It touched my heart because in science today, especially in computer technology, we are looking forward to winning this emotional technology. We are now touching upon it. We have now, just a year ago, we have made now a computer that has to limited extent some emotion we have been able to put into computer. We hope that in time to come, we will be able to advance this emotion technology about which Munishi just now referred. And I'm looking forward to that. One more thing I want to say on this occasion. Mahapragya talked of universal friendship. And that probably is the crux of the whole matter of discussion in science and philosophy of Jainism that we are talking about. And this universal friendship is referring to human values. Once we start recognizing all humans being one, then perhaps universal friendship will follow. And this universal friendship is that today we are debating in terms of creating values which should be universal. The values cannot be Western values and Eastern values. It has to be human values. Therefore, we have to look for and develop within the scope of this roundtable discussion, the human values which will develop emotional cue, and then this will be benefiting the globe. We are not talking about India alone. We are not talking about just one country or two countries. We are talking about humanity. So therefore, scientists are very much eager to come together with the spiritual achievers and to learn in that how we can carry forward now the knowledge advancement. We look forward to you, my respect to all of you. Yesterday, this was my small brief comment, but I will talk about it in valedictory a little more, how I perceive to do research in time to come. But one point that yesterday in the roundtable discussion here, in the panel discussion here, many audience have expressed views that we have been delivering lectures and they are sitting here listeners. They want to become participant in the discussion. And I had promised that we will cut down the time in roundtable discussion. It could not happen because we have many learned discussions here. Time is less.
25 minutes more now.
Yeah, so we have nearly 25 minutes. And this 25 minutes should be inviting your views, your opinion, your comments, your original thinking, which direction we should take science to, And Dr. Shah, you have to say something. Yesterday you were making, yes. Please go ahead. Yes. So now discussion begins. All of you are please invited to participate in the discussion. Thank you. Yes, please, yes.
Good morning. I have a question. If you like, I've got two questions. One for Madam. She just referred about the religion, and she said some religions, they are concerned with the water, whether they use water or not. And the other terminology used is some religions, they have sprung up from the desert. I don't know, what did you refer to? And a bigger question is to Munishri. The media has, printed this morning, I could see in the media, and that is what you have also referred to about the emotional side of the science. Yeah. Now, my question is, with the science moving at the pace as it is, robotic engineering is taking precedence over any other thing, which at the moment doesn't understand the emotions as it should, the culture as it should, and the rest of the questions. My question is, to the learned panel, how are we going to reconcile on one side that we are moving toward the robotic engineering, and on the other side we are talking about emotions, when the science itself agrees that this is a gap between the robotics and then the people who carry emotions? If you can elaborate on that. Thank you.
You know, actually, I don't know whether you were present in the one of the presentations in which our learned scientists have shown that in future robotics, the robots with emotions are in very near future, they are going to appear. They will greet you, they will be in grief if you give some message of sorrow, etc. Now there is not this question. Actually what is required is now that because in terminology of spirituality, or if we refer specially to Jain metaphysics, what I call Jain metaphysics, it is a pure scientific philosophy. In that it is accepted that after all, a human being, in spite of having at the center the soul or the consciousness, it is run only by the material atomic particle structure, which is called as karmic vargana. And in turn, it has the effect on tejas vargana, that is electromagnetic field in our body, and that in turn has its effect on our biochemical reactions and processes which are written in our DNA. So the whole hierarchy is the same. In robotics, whatever you will try to make will be all mechanical, biochemical, bioelectrical, and all these things which is done mechanically. The only difference between the robot and a living human being is it does not have the soul, but the mechanism. Human being has the soul plus mechanism. We have to give training to the soul to utilize this mechanism. In other words, software and hardware. We have got the hardware. See, the same hardware